What is up, fight fans? I am Jason Burgos for Sherdog.com, and tonight I am joined by the 11th ranked bantamweight in all of the UFC. On December 19th, he returns to the octagon looking to lock up a third straight win against arguably his biggest test to date in former title contender Marlon Moraes. And that man I speak of, and is a top lieutenant in the New England cartel, is the one and only Rob Font. Rob, there you go. Cartel goes what I'm talking about. Rob, what's going on, man? Thanks for the time before this octagon return.
Of course, brother. Of course, man. Of course, I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited to talk to you. Been hoping to talk to you for a long time, so I have a lot of questions just in general for this fight coming up. So coming off a loss back a few years back, you beat two pretty good fighters in Sergio Pettis, Ricky Simon, yet you started both of those fights as the 11th ranked fighter in the division and then remained so all the way up to today. Was there like any frustration you didn't move up in the rankings off those wins, or you understand like those guys weren't maybe ranked at the time and stuff like that, and maybe the frustration is more like, why am I not getting a ranked guy? I just fought Assuncao. I should be getting more ranked guys.
Yeah, it was after that Assuncao fight. It was hard to find a fight, man. It was weird. I couldn't find a ranked guy. So obviously Sergio Pettis stepped in, and we got the job done. And then I believe the only guy, Sean was like, listen, the only guy I really got for you right now is Jimmy Rivera. After the Sergio fight, he's like Jimmy Rivera or Ricky Simon. And Jimmy Rivera wasn't trying to fight in Boston at the time. That's the card we were looking at. He wanted to do something in New York or whatever, and it just wasn't happening. And then we got the Ricky Simon fight. So, obviously it was frustrating. It is what it is. I guess I blame it on Jimmy Rivera, man, but it is what it is, man. We're back in there. We got another big opportunity, big fight, big name, and I'm excited,
And I've talked to a lot of fighters and heard this kind of stuff too. And I've also talked to your coach and manager Tyson about like how hard booking can be in the UFC. And you'd think it's hard in the regionals and stuff like that. Maybe other promotions, but when you get to the top level, it should be easier. And sometimes for a lot of guys, especially as talented as you are, it just seems hard. Like how difficult is that to deal with? Okay, I got a fight day. Oh no, this guy dropped out. Okay, I got an opponent. Oh no, he don't want to do it. He wants to do New York. Like how frustrating is that as a fighter? How frustrating is that like on a financial level, like you expecting to make a certain amount of money a year and guys just don't want to freaking fight?
Yeah, no, it's annoying, man. It's annoying. It's crazy. Like you said, I thought I was done with that on the local scene, but but honestly, like my debut didn't go as planned. My debut, I was supposed to fight Douglas Da Silva on Andrade, and then he got injured, and I fell in with George Roop. My second fight, same thing. I was supposed to fight Patrick Williams. He got injured. I had to fight Joey Gomez. Like it's not. It is what it is. The John Lineker situation. The second time, I got in the day we got the fight. We show up fight week, and the day of the weight cut happens. So. Yep. Yeah, but before that, it was Cody Stamen. I was supposed to fight Cody Stamen. He got injured. John Lineker came in. He couldn't make weight. And then I had that gap where I was just sitting around waiting. So it is what it is. It's frustrating, financially frustrating. But it is what it is. I bounce back. I deal with how I deal with it, but yeah, you would assume that once you get to the UFC, it should be smooth. It's definitely not. It's definitely not. So, I honestly don't believe I'm fighting until I'm literally walking into the cage. Like that's when I fully believe that the fight's on, the fight's going down, because that John Lineker situation happened to me on the local scene as well. So that happened to me twice, where I showed up to the weigh-ins and the fight just got scratched. So that's like my second time doing that. So again, like I guess I'm scarred. Like I do not believe I'm fighting until I walk into the cage.
All right, now booking PTSD aside, you have had a couple of opportunities in the past to really establish yourself in the division against top-ranked guys or maybe major names at the time. Those being the Assuncao fight, like I mentioned, 2018. John Lineker, you mentioned 2016. You unfortunately came up short in competitive decisions in both of those fights. How much is this fight, with maybe the biggest name, maybe the biggest challenge for you yet, about getting kind of vindication for those missed opportunities and getting over kind of like that only real major hump for you so far to prove, like, look, I'm an elite guy in this division and this is the fight?
Yeah, no. So this is definitely that fight I need. I had the opportunity, I just didn't take advantage of it, and I don't think I was ready for those opportunities yet, just yet, especially the John Lineker fight. I went from fighting, again, Joey Gomez, pretty much a local fighter, to John Lineker in front of 40,000 people in Curitiba. And I didn't, in my mind, I thought, oh, just another day, but it wasn't, like I didn't, I didn't say I didn't train. I definitely trained, but I didn't really wrap around my head, like what was really going on. And it was just, and then the Assuncao fight, another great opportunity. I showed up, was ready. He just outpositioned me. He's better in being in the better position the whole time. And it felt like a true veteran, you know what I'm saying? He didn't like beat me up like that. He didn't finish me, but he just beat me to every position, was always on top, every little exchange. He was just a little faster and a little better understanding of positioning, and I learned a lot from that fight. And, it is what it is. And I'm bouncing back, and I just feel like I'm still just getting better, and I feel like I just learned how to wrestle. And I'm like, the power, the speed, that's always there, but I'm just getting better. My training partners are getting better. We're growing, and I think this is the right opportunity for me right now. And even coming off off an injury, I'm like, I got a brand new knee. I'm ready. I'm rested. That whole year, I didn't take any damage at all. I didn't take any headshots. No, you know what I'm saying? My the little hand injuries and elbows and shoulders are all cleared. I feel great. So, again, I took that loss as far as the injury loss and gained from it, and I'm just, I just got to go out there, not overthink this and fight this guy. And I think and I know I'm going to come out with a victory. And what I'm saying? I just want to see how I finish this fight, because the opportunity's there. I just want to go in there, finish it, and get the job done.
You have fought some pretty good strikers with kind of like a varying styles amongst them, the guys you fought in your UFC run. Guys like Lineker, like I mentioned, Thomas Almeida, Sergio Pettis, Pedro Munoz, Matt Schnell, all good, all kind of different stuff like that. Where does Moraes rank amongst those guys when it comes to striking? Is this sort of like a video game and where you got tested and beat all the lower level bosses and now this is like the striker's big boss of bantamweight, or is that overstated considering some of his recent losses?
I would say he's definitely up there, high level for sure. High level kickboxer. But with as far as like the punching, they're not that crisp. The kicks are devastating, obviously, but the punching, they're a little loopy and wide. So he has that kind of pure Muay Thai style. But again, I'm a sharpshooter, man. I'm a sharpshooter. And if he doesn't get comfortable chopping leg kicks, and I'm not there in front of him, it's gonna be a hard time. A hard night for him. So, my plan is stay long, stay busy, keep feinting on him, keep him moving, and let him run into the shots.
That's interesting that you mentioned stay long, because I was going to ask, for as good as a striker as he isn't one of those like strikers that, he went in there against a wrestler and the wrestler exposed him, and if he would have struck, he would have been better off. He's been beaten by other good strikers and fighters willing to kind of be aggressive, pressure him, get in his face, and not being kind of overly worried about like those kicks and stuff like that, his skill set. Is there something to be said about him not maybe reacting well to pressure in his face? And do you feel this plays well at all to your style? Is that something you want to work in? Or is it, like you said, fight long?
Definitely. Jose Aldo showed some good things. Obviously, Corey Sandhagen, that was amazing. It was like kind of the blueprint of staying long, keeping your feet moving, giving them different looks. And then you have the Henry Cejudo situation where he pushed on him, and he just kept pushing on him. So, and you saw how tired he got in that fight. So it's kind of like the blueprint's there. I just got to go out there and follow the blueprint. And but at that same time, I'm not expecting that same fighter to come out. I'm expecting a Marlon Moraes on 3.0. It's like I know how I came up my loss, and I've always came back better. So I'm expecting him to do the same. Hopefully he doesn't. Hopefully he kind of just just whatever. But I'm expecting like a complete monster out there.
And I'm glad you mentioned that in changing, adjusting, because that's kind of where I was going to go and transitions perfectly into that, because I was going to bring up the fact that, okay, he's lost 2 out of 3. One win is the split decision over Aldo, like you mentioned. This isn't a guy that, considering where he is, 32 years old, so close to having been in a title situation, still in that area. If he loses to you 3 out of 4, that's really huge setback for him. How, in ways, like, of course you can't assume certain changes the guy's going to come with. You can't find out until the fight itself, but are there things like, for example, do you feel like maybe he goes for more takedowns? Maybe he tries to use his jiu-jitsu. Maybe he tries to be more varied. Like, how do you prepare for that 3.0 version, and what do you prepare for?
Definitely. So, the first 4 weeks of sparring, we brought in heavy boxers. We brought in some boxers and just worked straight boxing just to get my cardio up, my hands going, right? And then after that, we brought in a solid guy named John Duma, awesome wrestler out of New Jersey for that, because we figured, all right, well, he's gonna have to. I'm preparing for him to take me down, you know, especially watching that Assuncao fight.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's gonna try to take me down. So he brought in a heavy wrestler with my boy Tateki Masuda, which is another high level kickboxer. So we got the boxing look, and then we like a couple weeks, and then we switched it up to just the overall MMA, and we got the MMA look with a great wrestler and a solid kickboxer to kind of mimic all that. And again, they all huge fans of the MMA, and they watch them, so they know. Again, my coach Tyson Charrier breaks down everything like he breaks everything down. So he gave him the game plan. You know what I'm saying? So I had a lot of good looks, and you know, we're not looking past anything. Like again, we're not looking past anything as far as the wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and obviously the striking. So I'm expecting a well-rounded, hungry Marlon Moraes to come out.
Your close friend and teammate Calvin Kattar, also a big fan of chicken parmesan. That's why I love him. He's taken kind of that step ahead in status in his division, where he's getting those major bouts. He's getting a co-main event. He's getting a main event coming up soon. This is not his first main event. How important is this fight for you in taking your career to that next level? Is there an added pressure? Like we talked about, you had those shots before, maybe you weren't ready. This is a big one again, because this isn't only really about winning. It's about taking your value to new levels. And with higher value means bigger fights. Bigger fights means bigger paychecks. Like, do you feel that added pressure? Because this is a big spotlight fight.
It's definitely there. It's definitely there. I can feel it. And like I said, like I got to go through it with Calvin, and I can see the pressure, the main events, the everything, and so I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm mentally ready. I'm physically ready, and just got to go out there, no excuses, and get the fucking job done. And that's simple. It's that simple. It's got to get the job done, put them away, and get ready for the next one, because it's gonna be a big fight. I understand that it's gonna be a big one, and the pressure just slowly gets bigger and bigger and harder. So I'm ready for that, though. You know what I'm saying? I know Calvin is too, and we're sharing that pressure together.
Now, going back to what you mentioned before in terms of like not being maybe not on a physical, technical level ready, but like a mental level in terms of just the bigness, the next level. It was like going from NCAA to the NFL kind of thing in the UFC. Like how, in certain ways, where would you say you weren't ready mentally, and how has that changed? What have you done to make that change? Is it simply just the experience? You have to go through the UFC experience to understand what it's all about, the competition change. Like, what is that switch, and how did you make that switch?
Yeah, so back then I didn't really put too much into like mental coaching or anything like that. Like I was in that just like, oh yeah, we're gonna go out there and fight. Like I didn't really put it into it. And then after my fight, one of my teammates was like, listen, man, you just had a mental part. You ever thought about talking to somebody? And I was like, yeah, like, no, I recommend talking to somebody, and he hooked me up with one of his guys, and it changed everything. It just changed the approach. Even after that Lineker fight, like, and I lost to Pedro, it didn't hurt as bad as the Lineker fight, because that was mental. The Pedro fight, I got caught early and I shot bad. I got caught early with a big shot and I shot in. And you can't do that with Pedro; he's gonna choke you. So, and then Assuncao again, like I dealt with those losses way better than I did with the Lineker fight, because I just wasn't mentally there. And then like I just didn't put enough or add anything at all into the mental side. And we all know it's damn near 90% mental, 10% physical. And I was like, I'm going 90 physical and nothing fucking mental. So it's kind of like, I think that was the biggest part for me. And right now, I think I'm in a good spot. I'm ready. I feel like I'm more matured. I feel like getting better. I'm completely healthy. And I just got to go out there and have fun and do what I do best, and do what I know I can do.
And the person that was suggested to you, what was like a sports psychologist? Is that what you're talking about? And what not to get too much into your sessions and stuff like that, but what does a sports psychologist, like, give me some ideas of what they talk to you about that make you go, oh shit, I never saw it that way. Like, what are a couple of examples?
It's just little things like obviously believing in yourself. The visualization, things like mentally working on seeing yourself knocking somebody out. They use the example of like a basketball player that physically he sits there, just closes his eye and sees himself making the shot. Things like that, dealing with that nervousness, you talking about it. I don't over panic, but there's a nervousness of fighting, no matter who it is, and understanding how to kind of keep that energy and kind of like I guess they say like keep the butterflies flying in the same formation instead of just all over the fucking place, you know. And you know, like little things like that help me out a lot. And the little tips, you know, little conversations, even if it's just bullshit and talking, like about life or whatever, it helps. It helps to talk about. And I got to, obviously I got to do that with my teammates, get to do that, but then I get to do it with a professional as well. So it just helped out a lot more than I thought it actually would, you know. And like now I invest in a lot into that now.